I broke my tooth the other day, so I've been looking for a second job in order to pay for my dental work, because I don't want to be looking all methed out in the front, and it's a front tooth too. All right, so I'm like, the only way I'm gonna be able to pay for my dental work is if I get a second job and dedicate all that money from that second job to this dental work. But then it got me thinking about my time management. I get a second job, it's gonna be a lot harder for me to make videos, edit videos, finish my cartoons, all that. But in the process of looking for another job, the application process, the resume process in 2026 is a humiliation ritual altogether. So I'm looking for something that fits my schedule. I obviously work at the restaurant in the mornings. And if y'all don't know, I'm out here getting my run on, trying to get back into some type of shape. But I work at the restaurant in the morning, which serves me well. By 2, 3 o'clock, I'm out. So anything after 4, I can work. And I've been looking at these different jobs, and a lot of these jobs, especially these entry-level jobs, they want you to have an open schedule. They don't want you to have another job, despite the fact that most of them only want to pay you $12, $13 an hour, as if anybody can live off that humiliation ritual. So I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. No, you can't fit my schedule either in the evenings or the afternoons, and I don't work Sundays because I need at least one day off. And I know that sounds like I'm being picky, but the rest of the week I'm completely open, and a lot of these places that I'm applying for need night merchants or night cashiers. So like the gas stations, certain stock places, not necessarily for cashiering, but for putting away boxes and stock. But for some reason, they still want you to have an open schedule. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But I was like, whatever. I'll put in some applications, I'll leave my options open. Beggars can't be choosy, and I need new teeth. So I'm like, whatever, I'll put in this application for 7-Eleven. So I put in the application for 7-Eleven, do the whole process or whatever. Then it sends me to it gives me a link to go to another site to put in some more information, like, you know, like optional information like my race, whether or not I want to, you know, am I legal to work in the United States? Then at the very end of all of that, it asks me for my social. Now take in mind, this is the second link. This ain't the link that I went through to fill out the application or anything. This is a second link that they sent me to, talking about they want my fucking social. No, you're not gonna get my social for me to apply for no job. You know what I'm saying? Just like if you, when they used to have paper applications, most of these places don't have paper applications no more. You will go, do your application or whatever, and then they want you to put your social security number at the top of the freaking application, and your real name, social security, like, not like nobody can't go through that stack and just shirk you off. And we talking about a third-party link. You follow a third-party link, put in your social, next thing you know, your whole identity's gone. I'm like, no, it should be, especially if they're using a third-party site like Indeed or any of these like aggregate sites to get you to a job. If I put my fucking application in and my information there, which is trusted, right? I've gotten many jobs from Indeed. They haven't sold my identity. I shouldn't have to go to a third-party fucking thing in order to finish this application process. That's stupid. That's crazy to me, and I don't like that. Like, that, all right, whatever. But I didn't do that, so I was like, whatever. I just try to find something else where I don't have to put my social in a third party, you know what I'm saying, in a third party space. So I said, all right. I did another application for someplace else, right? And what have you they do? Once you start putting in an application, they say, okay, we want you to go to this other place, and we want you to do this test, this compatibility test. I can go that way because of the music. We want you to do this compatibility. We can go back this way. We want you to do a compatibility test to see if, you know what I'm saying, if you're compatible with this job. And what is a compatibility test? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Those freaking 50 to 60 questionnaire tests that's asking you, you know, questions like, would you somewhat do this? I mean, would you never do this? Would you somewhat do this? Would you, so, you know, it's like 5 different answers that you can make, and it's like 1 through 5, what would you pick? Most likely, least likely, that type of shit. You do this, you do 70 something fucking questions of this, and you never get a fucking call back, because if you do something wrong, if you're not absolute, let's say you're always middling, you say, oh, you know, sometimes it depends on the situation, they're not gonna hire you. They want an absolute robot answer, binary answer, yes or no. Even though it's 5 options there, they want either somewhat, I mean, they want either never or always. They don't want anything in between. So you sit up here playing this stupid fucking game just to get a call back, What? It's a humiliation ritual, bro. Nobody wants to do all that, man. Just to like work for freaking less than minimum wage, because $12 an hour at this point in time ain't minimum wage, bro. That's below poverty. Nobody can live off of that. That's crazy. But yet they want you to jump through all these freaking hoops just to even apply. That's insane. And then let's talk about like the bigger jobs, the big boy jobs where you have to do multiple fucking rounds of like, you have to do multiple rounds of freaking interviews in order to just get in the door. They say, okay, yeah, we want you to interview with this person. Then you interview with this person. Then you have to go and do another Zoom call with another motherfucker, another manager. This is our executive night manager, so-and-so. We're gonna need you to talk to him, even though you already talked to Sally and Bert last week. We need to talk to him. And if you can get through this round of applications, then we're gonna have a group interview where we can see if you can mesh well with the group. And then we're gonna offer you a project to see if you can do the project, right? And even though we're gonna implement some of the ideas that you put in this project just to get the job into some stuff that we're still not gonna fucking hire you. This is what people going through in 2026. Ghost jobs. I mentioned aggregate sites like Indeed earlier. You go on a site like Indeed, right? Half the fucking jobs on there are not even real jobs. They're just companies putting up these ghost jobs so that they can get these tax breaks to say, oh look, we're hiring. Oh look, we're hiring. Da, da, da. And then you notice why they always ask you, are you on SNAP? Are you a veteran? Are you black? They ask you all these fucking questions because they get a kickback based on these things, right? Based on if you're disabled, based on if you're black, right? Based on if, I mean, obviously these are optional questions that you don't have to answer. Based on if you get SNAP benefits, the government gives these people kickbacks, right? And then they're gonna pay you barely anything to where practically the kickback pays for your employment. That's what these companies do. That's why they pay you less than anything. They pay you less than anything because they purposely want you to struggle. They do. They want you to struggle. It ain't about getting ahead. They sit there and tell you, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But when the goddamn straps are frayed and cut, them motherfuckers are gonna break. There's no security, like, in order to like pull yourself up by your bootstrap at fucking $12, entry level, $12 an hour. Like I just said, my daughter just got out of high school, and that got me thinking about all this. Like, what is she gonna do for a career? What is the career options for her right now? What are people gonna do? Even if she just wanna get like a regular job, is it worth it for her, you know what I'm saying, to not just pursue a dream? And I wanna talk about that too. I don't want my kids thinking that their worth, I don't want them being like me and like us, thinking that our worth is tied to our productivity and whatever job we are. That ain't, life is about more than that, yo. It really is. Life is about more than fucking how much money you can make and how much shit you can buy and all that crap, right? Life is about, look at a butterfly or a moth. I don't know if y'all see it. Let's go right there. Life is about living, bro. And they didn't convince us in this world, this Western world, that life is about, oh, working for as hard as you can for other motherfuckers to live their lives better. Not for you to get ahead anywhere, but for you to fucking bust your ass for all your life, get sick, lose your teeth, all this other shit, right? You know, get old, and then there's nothing there for you to fucking fall back on. And then when you sitting up there in the home, right? Or you're sitting up there indolent, like so many people I see around here, like so many of these old people pushing these carts and shit. They ain't got nobody gives a fuck about you. This system don't care. Nobody that's judging you right now, oh, let's say you're unemployed right now, oh, I can't find a job, you know, because the system's hard, because things are hard, right? Oh, I can't find a job or whatever. You can't find a job, and you're judging yourself, you're beating yourself up, because there's obviously things you want to do in this world. There are no third places to where you can go and hang out with people your age for free. So you always got to have some money to participate. You gotta pay to play, you know what I'm saying? So you feel like you are a burden, especially if you stand with somebody, they bringing in some cheese, you doing your best to find a place. What do you feel? You feel worthless. Why do you think so many people take themselves out the game? Why do you think so many people take themselves out this situation? Because they feel like they're worthless. And taking away the utility from everybody, taking away, and it's funny because I forgot to mention yesterday in my video about demons. I talked about all types of demons except the technical demon, the digital demon. I did kind of talk about social media a little bit, but the digital demon, this technological apparatus of AI that's gonna come and take over everything, that got us, those of us that are in the know, scrambling to find some place in the future, some place for us to be. That's demonic, bro. If you sit there and you tell me that you're making if you're sitting up there telling me that you're making robots to replace people, for what? Like, not to make people's lives better, not that they're offering, like people say, UBI, which I don't, like, once again, universal basic income is another level of control, but they're not even offering that. But you're offering machines to replace people. That's demonic. And to take away people's purpose, that's demonic, right? And they know that. If people are already taking themselves off the game statistically because they feel like they lack purpose, what the fuck do you think's gonna happen when like all these machines? Look, the world is working right now. Like, you have like all these workers like doing their job. You have the people unloading the trucks. You have people doing the cleaning crew. You have all this stuff, right? In the middle of the morning, look, see, all over the place. Just stuff happening, right? And eventually they want to replace all of this life with robots. So what will fucking people's purpose be? All of these people that are doing like all this work, what is it? They don't give a fuck. You know why? Because they don't want us questioning, like, they don't want us questioning them no more. They don't want to have to answer questions. They tired of it. They feel like it's beneath them. When you have like the president start an illegal war and you have to answer to the fucking people, and the people are coming up with like all of these theories as to why you're doing it, and they're like spot on their nose. No, we have to do something away. We got to do away with that. We got to make these people struggle. And as long as you focused on struggling, as long as you focused on getting money, you're not focused on what they doing. You're not focused on the illegal shit that they pulling off. We're not having these conversations. Like, right? Today, everybody's conversation should be why our country's spending like all this money to try to go into another fucking war. That's what the conversation is supposed to be, right? Right? But what is the conversation today? Oh, I gotta get up and go to work. Oh, I gotta pay these bills. Ah, everything's getting so expensive. Right? That's what we talk about, because this is our life. This is the world that we live in. That's the world we have to deal with that shit. We can't just sit there and say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna ignore my life. Like people say, just stop, just don't participate. Don't participate. Then I'm over here on the fucking corner. Do you know, just up here on Ogden, like right up this way, down here, a few years ago, I believe in 2019, there was a guy, he came out and there was homeless people. He took a sledgehammer and they were sleeping at night in the parking lot over here, like right over here. And he took a sledgehammer and he bust their heads open. He did it to, I think, 3 different homeless people, okay? 3 different homeless men, one guy in his 60s, one guy in his 40s. And then the police, they set up a camera and they set up a dummy to catch him. And they call him like busting this dummy's head with the sledgehammer, okay? They were only able to charge him with that assault. They weren't able to charge him with the murders. But even though after he was arrested, the murder stopped, they were like, this is a serial killer, because he was a piece of shit, right? And he wanted to fucking like hurt homeless people. I bring that up to say, people say, oh, well, sometimes you just have to give everything up. But then you're sleeping out on the streets and you have pieces of shit that will come up there and try to bust you in the head with a fucking sledgehammer. Now, I remember when I was sleeping outside, you had that crazy motherfucker in the field yelling at me, that type of shit. Them type of motherfuckers that want to die, they want to sacrifice their life because they got something fucked up with them. Those are the people that are out here that I continue to work to avoid. That I have to participate in this system, even though I know that this system is fucking rigged, it's jacked up, it ain't here to serve me, it ain't here to serve my kids, it's here to keep me in this fucking endless trap. I get all of that. I get all of that. And people say, well, it's because you lack a plan. You just said you don't have a plan. But even for the people, like I said, with my father, who had the best laid plans. My dad worked for 44 fucking years in the mill. He retired, he was fine, but he still ended up with cancer. He still ended up sick. There's not always a guarantee that there's a way out of this shit, bro. It's a trap. It's a fucking trap. I'm telling you, all day long. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you just have to participate. But fucking looking for another job has been one of the most frustrating things like possible, like as of recently. Like, and I don't advise anybody freaking doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I ain't gonna say I don't advise nobody doing it. But this music is playing, I'm trying to avoid the music. That's why I'm walking around so frequently. So with that being said, y'all, I'm gonna get off of here with my rambling. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Try to keep away from the sweets so you ain't breaking your teeth. Have a dental plan, right? The reason I don't pay into my dental plan at work is because if I either pay for insurance or I pay for rent. That's it, that's one of the two. I don't have the option to fucking having insurance, so I'm gonna be over here being like all gap tooth and a motherfucker like in a minute, and that's all right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch y'all next time, okay? Bye-bye.